Okay, what is going on? And welcome back to the Backed by Bone podcast. This is going to be episode 30, and as always, I'm your host, Chris, aka Don Burgundy on the internet. What is going on? It looks like it is Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Looks like January 16th of 2023. What is going on? How you doing? Um, so I got a decent amount to talk about today, so I don't know if we're going to be hitting an hour or not, but we shall see. So let's get into the NFL really quickly. Pull up my picks as well. Um, where did I have it? Here we are. Here are my playoff predictions here. So let's take a look. Uh, bu- 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 Okay, so the first game that actually happened was the Seahawks 49ers game, which was actually pretty good. I watched the majority of that game. I would say I watched probably 75% of that game. Pretty good. The Niners ended up beating the Seahawks 41-23. Kind of expected there. I did have the Niners over the Seahawks. Um, Geno Smith threw for 253 with two tuds and one interception, so that's not actually not too bad. Um, DK Metcalf had two receiving touchdowns and 10 receptions for 136 yards, so he had a great game. But they just could not get it done. Looks like the Seattle defense could not fucking handle it. Brock Purdy had an amazing game. He had 332 yards and three touchdowns, so he was popping off. He also had four rushing carries for 16 yards, and a rushing touchdown. So he was playing out of his mind. I mean, he got four touchdowns, or responsible for four touchdowns in that game, which for a rookie quarterback, last in the draft, I mean, that's pretty phenomenal if you ask me. What else do we have here? Pretty good game overall. So, um, go on to the next one, which I believe, yeah, it was the Jaguars Chargers. Jaguars ended up beating the Chargers 31-30. I honestly, unfortunately, did not get to watch this game at all, but this probably would have been the most exciting game to watch. Um, Probably the closest game. I was surprised because the Chargers were leading the Jags all the way up into the half, and they were beating them by what 20 points, and then after that, the Jaguars just started popping off. I mean, Justin Herbert doesn't seem like he played terribly. Again, I didn't watch the game, so I don't really know. I mean, he went 273 for one touchdown, so it's not terrible. He didn't throw any interceptions, so I don't know what happened. With Trevor Lawrence, though, he threw four touchdowns and also four interceptions. So I don't know how they won that game. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the highlights, um, but I mean, he just powered back. I guess Trevor Lawrence coming into his own, becoming the truth. I mean, he threw four touchdowns to four different um, receivers. So, damn, good for him. Anything else? Yeah, like I don't know what happened with the Chargers. I'm pretty sure. I feel like the Chargers coach. I don't know if he got fired or if he's gonna be, but I don't fucking know. But that's a huge loss, especially to Jacksonville. So I mean, that's Jacksonville's like first playoff win in since the 90s, maybe. I don't even know. Like couldn't even tell you. But good for them. And then after that was the Bills Dolphins game, which was actually a whole lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought the Bills were absolutely going to roll over them. Bills ended up beating the Dolphins 34-31. I watched probably 95% of this game, so it was really good. I mean, that poor dude, the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, Skylar Thompson. Um, he was just not having a good game. He threw 220 yards with one touchdown and two interceptions. Um, you could tell he just was not comfortable, just didn't know what to do. I mean, he couldn't really get it to um, Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle enough. It just didn't work. I mean, he threw one touchdown to Mike Gesicki, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I also saw like a lot of uncharacteristic drops by some of those receivers as well. Like I saw Tyreek Hill drop a couple balls that were like thrown right at his chest. So it's kind of like, well, you can't really blame the quarterback for that. He put it right on him. So, I think it was Tyreek Hill. I I just picture or I just saw it like in my head, like it hit him right in the chest. And he just couldn't bring it in. So I was like, all right, well, I don't know. Maybe it's like a playoff playoff jitters, I guess. But I mean, the Miami defense actually played pretty well as well. They had a couple interceptions. I mean, because Josh Allen threw 352 for 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Kind of not not on brand for him to throw that many interceptions, but I mean, it is the playoffs, so it is what it is. Um, but he threw, played a good game. 3 different receivers for the receptions. Um, their defense played pretty well as well, but I thought it was going to be a whole lot more one-sided than that. Especially since the Dolphins don't have their starting quarterback. But I don't know. I guess just you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. And then the other game that I watched was the Giants and Vikings game. That was actually really good. This is like a really good game. Um, everyone like was saying like the Giants were going to win, and I had in the back of my head like I don't know, like everyone's kind of discounting the Minnesota Vikings because they're still a good team, but the Giants just I don't know, they played really good. I mean, I watched probably another 95% of this game as well. Um, and it was actually a really good game, really competitive. I actually enjoyed watching it. I don't think I watched a Giants game all season. I watched like one Minnesota game earlier this year, and I wasn't like blown away by it. I was actually kind of bored, but um, I don't know, kind of surprising. I mean, the Giants kind of just played that well. I mean, the quarterback Daniel Jones played out of his mind. He had 17 rushing carries for 78 yards. He threw 301 yards and he had 2 touchdowns. So um, I don't know what can you say. I mean, he had more yards and rushing carries than Saquon Barkley, who's like their star running back. So I mean, he's just dangerous. He's looking a whole lot like excuse me. He's looking a whole lot like Lamar Jackson right now. So pretty crazy. But that was a great game. So if you guys get a chance, go back and watch that. That was actually a really good game. Um, let's see, what else do we have? And then the Vikings. Yeah, I don't even think Kirk Cousins played that poorly. I mean, he threw 273 yards and had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think he played well. I think it might have just been maybe the Minnesota defense just didn't know what to do when it came to Daniel Jones in the running game because every time I saw Daniel Jones take off, like he was had like clear lanes, like they didn't know what to do. It's like, don't you guys kind of game plan for that? Like I don't know, because Daniel Jones is going to be heavy on the run game, so wouldn't you kind of like plan to have someone there? I don't know. I mean, I don't really know football. I'm just like a casual, so I don't really know, but I feel like they didn't game plan well enough for the um to stop Daniel Jones. But that was a good game as well. Um, what else do we have? Oh, we have the Ravens and the Bengals game. I did not watch that because I ended up going to sleep. Bengals ended up beating the Ravens 24-17. Surprisingly close with no Lamar Jackson. Tyler Huntley went 226 yards for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Actually, not too bad. Also, he had 9 carries for 54 yards. It's pretty good. Um, but the rest of the team, I guess, just could not pull it together. I don't know if maybe it was the defense. Again, I didn't watch that game. Joe Burrow only threw 209 yards and 1 touchdown. How did they end up winning this game? Must have been the running game. But I mean, Joe Mixon, like what? What's going on? So Joe Burrow had 1 rushing touchdown. He threw for a touchdown as well. So that's what happened. But must have been a slow game. I'm looking back at the score now by quarter, and it looks like it was a pretty slow game. A lot of field goals, huh? Wow. Well, good thing I didn't stay up and watch that game. I would have been disappointed. But yeah, Bengals beat the Ravens. That's kind of expected, but I thought it was going to be significantly um, more entertaining than that. I don't know. I mean, again, I didn't watch the game, but 24-17, like that was not very competitive. I mean, again, competitive in terms of score, but like slow. Like by the half, it was only what? 9 to 10 for the score. Like it's pretty boring. And then after that, they just scored like a couple field goals and shit. It's like, that's not very entertaining, especially in a playoff game. Like I get it, you get to do whatever it takes to win, but in a playoff game, like that's pretty boring. And then the Monday night game tonight, which I'm not going to stay up and watch, is going to be the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. This is in Tampa. Um, it's going to be kind of an exciting game. I would like to see what happens there. So for my playoff predictions that I went through, um, I had the Niners, which I had right. I picked the Chargers, which I had wrong. I had the Bills, which I had right. I had the Vikings, which I had wrong, and I picked the Bengals, which I had right as well. And then the last game is going to be the Cowboys. So let's do that, and then we'll go into the next round. So the next round is actually going to be Chiefs Jaguars, and I think this is probably like pretty much a home run slam dunk for the Chiefs. Like I don't see the Jaguars winning this at all, especially in Arrowhead. There's no way. Um, Jaguars played their divisional or their wild card game at home. Now that they play it on the road in the cold in Kansas City, that's going to be a tough adjustment. So I don't think they'll win at all. If they win, that's like the biggest upset I've ever seen in playoff football history, or since I've been watching football anyway. Um, And then we have Giants Eagles. I think this is going to be a really good game as well. I'm still taking the Eagles here just because I think they've had a lot of time to rest up. Jalen Hurts has had a lot of time to rest up, but it's probably going to be a closer game than I would expect. But I'm still going to go Eagles here. And then we actually have the rematch of the game that was canceled. We have Bills Bengals, and this is in Buffalo as well. So I think this is going to be a really good game, especially since. Um, they were supposed to play and then it got canceled because of the Damar Hamlin stuff. So I'm still going Bills here. It's in Buffalo. I think the Bills are just a significantly better team. I think they worked out some of the kinks that they had when they just played Miami. So I think they're going to kind of pull it together. And the Bengals didn't have a phenomenal performance against the Ravens. So I'm gonna go Bills, but I think that game's gonna be good. And then whoever wins tonight ends up playing the 49ers in San Francisco. For the sake of it, I'm going to say it's 49ers Cowboys because I picked the Cowboys to win this game tonight. Um, but whoever the 49ers play, I'm gonna pick them as the winner. So I'm gonna say 49ers win regardless. Um, So that is going to be my picks for the divisional rounds. It's going to be Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, 49ers. Nothing super crazy there because those are all favorites anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter. Um, if you want to try and steal a couple dollars, I would say put some money on the Giants because they're probably going to be huge underdogs there. Um, but the line probably isn't going to be like insane. So I would say if anything, they might be like a 5-point underdog. I don't know. That's just guessing, but I would say try that game. Maybe put a little bit of money on the Giants because um, highly doubt the Jags are going to win. Bengals and Bills is like a coin flip, so that's pretty close. And whoever plays the Niners, it's probably not going to be very close. So I think the closest game right there would be the Giants Eagles for an upset anyway. So I would probably hammer a little bit of money on the Giants just in case if you guys want to have a little fun in the game. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for the NFL portion of the podcast. Kind of fly through that pretty quickly. I did want to mention the college football playoff. I actually did not watch the college football championship, and I'm pretty glad I didn't because Georgia Bulldogs ended up beating TCU 65-7. Like, how fucking uncompetitive is that? Like, my God. But I mean, kind of cool story for Georgia. They won last year, and Stetson Bennett was not the intended quarterback. So he ended up stepping up. He threw for 304 yards with 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's like a what do you call that? Um, Sorry, that's like an NFL level like performance right there. So he played really well. They were just absolutely crushing them. I mean, TCU only got 1 touchdown. It was in the first, and then after that, Georgia just steamrolled them, like running up the score on them. 65-7 is like a high school level game where it's like you're playing like a Division 1 high school against like a Division 3 high school or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like not even close. Glad I didn't watch the game, but that was this past Monday. Yeah, that was about a week ago on Monday. So glad I didn't watch that fucking game. Um, Jesus Christ, 65. Like after the second, like after the first quarter, like you can kind of feel like the game was done. I'm sure. Like, and then going into the half, like what? I mean, Georgia was up 38-7 at the half. Like Jesus Christ, man! Like absolutely defeated. So anyone who kind of put money on the horn or TCU Horned Frogs probably lost their minds. Um, but congratulations to Georgia. I guess I just wanted to mention that really quickly, just because it was pretty interesting. But whatever, it is what it is. And then we're gonna go on to the NHL really quickly. Let's take a look at the Bruins. Bruins playing today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time against the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't know why I said it that way. So I might actually watch that game. Because I totally forgot they were playing. So that's dope. But let's see here. They ended up dropping a game to the Seattle Kraken at home. I actually brought this up. If you guys listen to the podcast, I brought this up a week or so ago. How I would not be surprised if the Bruins dropped that game because they just came back off a 3-game road trip in California. So I mentioned this before. I said, don't be surprised if they drop this game, and lo and behold, they lose to the Kraken 3-0. I don't even know who Seattle has. I don't really care. But you could probably just tell that the boys were tired. They're trying to get back into it. Old Mark, he made fucking 30 saves. It just wasn't enough. Like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Again, I think the Bruins are looking like they're in a good spot, but they just need a um, top 4 defenseman to fill in a good spot there. But Bruins play today, which is going to be dope. They're playing at home against Philadelphia. Philadelphia's bad, so that's good. Good rebound game for them. Anything else? What else is going on today? Panthers and Sabres. That's actually a pretty good game. Ooh, sorry, my voice cracked. Later today at 6 p.m. we got the Dallas Stars against the Golden Knights. That's gonna be a good game. What else do we have? That's about it. I mean, there's a bunch of games going on today, but those are the most intriguing games that I've seen. Um, but yeah, Bruins play Flyers today, 1 p.m. And then let me take a look at the rest of their schedule. They're playing New York Islanders on Wednesday. That's in New York. Then they're playing the Rangers in New York on Thursday. That's going to be a tough back-to-back. And then they come back home on Sunday to play the San Jose Sharks, which should be an easy game. But Bruins still looking good. It's just, what I mean, they drop games like that to Seattle, which they should never drop. But I mean, it is what it is. Let's take a look really quickly. Bruins still in the lead of the Eastern Conference here in the Atlantic Division with 33-5-4. They got 70 points, a significant lead because the next team behind them is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs with 59 points. Not even close. So Bruins looking really good. So they can afford to drop a few games, but you just don't like to see it against low tier teams like that. What else do we have? We'll go into the Metro Division. Got the Carolina Hurricanes with 62 points, and right behind them the Jersey Devils with 59. Devils on a 4-game win streak. They're kind of picking it back up again. And looking into Metro Division, the Philadelphia Flyers are 18-7. So if the Bruins lose this game, that's going to be a disaster. Let's take a look at the Western Conference. Currently leading the Western Conference, surprisingly enough, is the Winnipeg Jets with 59 points on a 3-game win streak, and right behind them is the Dallas Stars with 57 points on a 2-game losing streak. So a little bit of shake up there in the Central Division, which is pretty interesting. And then over in the Pacific Division, we have the Golden Knights topping the division with 58 points. And then right behind them is the Seattle Kraken with 56 points. And they're actually on an 8-game win streak. So it's kind of interesting to see them kind of rise to prominence there, especially in that Pacific Division. It's got 2 of the most brand new teams in the league top in the division. And you got all these old school teams just absolutely sucking dick because it's Vegas, Seattle, and then LA. Kind of cool to see like some new blood in there, and like it'd be nice to see um, Seattle and LA in the playoffs because I think Vegas is probably going to make the playoffs, but Seattle or LA would be nice to see them in there as well. I think that's going to be it for the NHL. Let's take a look at the NBA. Celtics are going to be playing the Charlotte Hornets today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Pretty interesting. Let's take a look at their. They just beat the Hornets because they're playing them a two-game series. They just beat the Hornets on Saturday, 122 to 106. They play them again today, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then keep an eye on this game. Thursday, January 19th, the Celtics are playing at home against the Warriors, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be a dope game. Some cool games coming up. They're playing the Heat on the 24th of January, playing the Lakers the 28th of January, and then they're playing the Nets February 1st, and they're playing the Suns February 3rd. So pretty tough schedule coming up here with some random other teams thrown in there, but should be a pretty good. Um, Damn, the Celtics playing the Bucks March 30th, and then they're playing the Jazz March 31st. What a fucking trip! Oof, that's gonna be tough. But yeah, Celtics still looking really good. They are still topping the Eastern Conference on a six-game win streak. They are 32 and 12. Um, the next closest behind them would be the Brooklyn Nets at 27-15 on a two-game losing streak. Then right behind them is the Milwaukee Bucks, 27 and 16 on a two-game losing streak as well. Oh wow, surprising actually. If you go second through fifth, they all have 27 wins. So it's Nets, Bucks, 76ers, and Cavs all tied at 27 wins. So um, pretty interesting. But it looks like the Celtics have the best win streak in the Eastern Division, at least anyway, with six in a row. And then the Western Conference, the Nuggets are topping the Western Conference 30 and 13 on a six-game winning streak. And then right behind them on their heels is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies at 29 and 13 on a nine-game winning streak. That is the best winning streak in the league. I guess the Grizzlies are just popping off. So that's pretty cool to see. What else do we have? Oof. Got the Houston Rockets all the way down there at 10 and 33 on a 10-game losing streak. My God, it's going to feel so terrible. God, that's tough. But yeah, I think that's going to be about it for the NBA. Did I want to mention anything else? No. I think we'll just go right into the UFC because there's the actual first UFC card of the year. Mm, Excuse me. First UFC card of the year was UFC Fight Night Sean Strickland versus Nasruddin Imavov. It was actually pretty interesting. This is also the 30-year anniversary of the UFC, so that's kind of cool. I think they're going to be doing some cool stuff for that. On the gloves, they got like a big 30 on there and with the logo, so that's a little bit of something. But I think they're probably going to be doing some cool stuff for that. Um, what else? So I did not really watch the prelims at all. I didn't really care because there wasn't really anybody on there that I actually cared about. I kind of tuned in a little bit. I just saw like a couple like minutes of like a couple fights, but I didn't really tune in too much. But I did watch the main card. The first fight on the main card was Umar Nurmagomedov versus Raoni Barcelos. I did not watch that fight to be completely honest. Umar ended up winning by KO/TKO in the first round. Almost looks like 4 minutes and 40 seconds in the first round. Only a couple seconds left. The fight after that was Raquel Pennington against Caitlin Vieira. Didn't watch that fight really. Ended in a decision. Raquel Pennington won. And then the Roman Kopylov fight against the other dude who Punhele Soriano. I don't know. That was a pretty good fight. I was surprised. Roman Kopylov ended up winning in the second round, halfway through, almost at the end, by TKO or KO. I don't really know. It was a good fight though. And then the co-main was Dan Ige versus Damon Jackson. Dan Ige ended up winning by knockout or TKO in the second round. Uh, that was a pretty good fight. I mean, Dan basically was winning the entire time. The Damon Jackson dude, I'm pretty sure was a late replacement. I think he took the fight on a late replacement. Pretty sure. Maybe he didn't. Um, but you could just tell because they were like mentioned to like Damon Jackson was like more of like a jiu-jitsu guy, and you kind of tell like how he looked kind of awkward on the feet, and like he definitely like knew what he was doing, but he just didn't seem as comfortable. So you can kind of tell Danny Go was going to win that. And then Sean Strickland ended up beating Nasruddin Imavov by decision. Um, so Sean Strickland was actually the late replacement. It's supposed to be Nasruddin Imavov versus Kelvin Gastelum. For whatever reason, Kelvin Gastelum pulled out. So that kind of sucks because that would have been a cool fight. But I mean, Sean Strickland, he ends up going up a weight class to fight this guy um, at like 205, I think it was. Yeah, because it says light heavyweight, so 205. He ends up beating him anyway. So I mean, he just kind of dictated the entire fight. It was pretty good to watch, but it wasn't like the most um, exciting fight night I've ever seen in my life. A lot of the fight nights are usually like they have a lot more knockouts and a lot more cool submissions. So there's a handful, but it's first card of the year. What do you really expect? They're kind of just getting back into it. So it was interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have paid to watch it, but I mean, it was free anyway. Coming up soon, though, is going to be UFC 283, which is Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal Hill. That's going to be a dope fight. It's also got Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno on the card. That's going to be dope. You got Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. That should be a pretty decent fight. Paul Craig, Johnny Walker. That should be a good fight as well. That card is this Saturday. It's going to be January 21st. Unfortunately, the main card starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be watching this. I'm pretty sure it's in Brazil, so that's why it's on so late. Let's take a look at the prelims. This is a big first big UFC fight of the year because it's the first like numbered one. So um, I guess it's going to be in Brazil, whatever. Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of Brazilians on the card. Mauricio, who was actually on the card, he's on the prelim card. That's kind of interesting. Um, that should be kind of cool. I didn't even know he's still fighting. What else do we have? And then let's take a look at the early prelims. Don't really see any other fights on here that I care about. Yeah, I don't really see any fights on the early prelims that I care about. So, UFC 283, keep an eye out on the main card. That's actually going to be dope. The main fight and the co-main are going to be really cool. So those are definitely worth watching. I'm going to have to watch the highlights because there's no fucking way I'm staying up to watch those. So keep an eye on that. And then after that, it's going to be UFC Fight Night. Derek Lewis against Sergey Spivak. That is February 5th. For whatever reason, the main card starts at 1 a.m. And it's going to be in Vegas. Like, I don't know why that card is starting so fucking late, but maybe that's like an error or that's wrong, but I don't know. I don't really see a whole lot of fights on that main card that I care about, and I don't see any fights on the card that I care about at all. It looks like a lot of Asian fighters on this one, which I, you know, don't really care. I mean, I think that's cool. Bring in more like different countries into it. But I think it's like a lot of these guys like I've never heard of, so that's kind of cool. It'd be interesting to see if you get any like superstars coming out of these guys because I've never seen any of these faces before or their names. Um, but I think it's dope because usually it's like one championship has like the monopoly on all the like the really good Asian fighters. So it's cool to see these guys come over. A lot of them like it looks like a lot of South Koreans. This guy's last name is Nakamura, so he's Japanese. This guy's Korean. Got looks like a couple Chinese as well, so that's kind of interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, maybe that's why the card is on so late. Huh? Weird. Well, whatever. And then UFC 284, which is quite a ways away, but it's Saturday, February 11th, is going to be an absolute banger. Unfortunately, the main card starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be in um, Australia, which is pretty fucking cool. So that should be dope. But I don't think I'll stay up and watch this because it is so late. So I'll probably just watch um, all of the highlights. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But I think that is going to be it for the UFC. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. All right, all set. All right. So next, what did I want to go into next? Um, I believe it was everyone's favorite section is going to be the LPL, or I should say everyone's favorite section is going to be the League of Legends section. So the LPL, which is the Chinese um, pro scene, actually started back up this weekend on Saturday, the 14th. So the first game was JDG, or sorry, was which one was the first game? Can't tell. Whatever. So the games that were on were Team WE versus Fun Plus Phoenix. WE ended up winning 2-1. Team WE got a decent amount of changes here. I'm gonna have to go back and like look through all the changes because I don't really remember what teams are on what. So also I didn't watch the W Fun Plus Phoenix game. It was on pretty early, and then IG ended up beating Rogue Warriors 2-0. I had to go back and look at the teams. The one game I did actually watch a decent of, sorry, one series I actually ended up watching a decent amount of was the JDG game versus the Billy Gaming game, which was actually pretty good. I was watching it at the gym, so it was actually pretty good. Um, that was actually also what's his face? Ruler's debut on a Chinese team, and then they played against Billy Gaming, who has it's got Yagao's debut, and I'm pretty sure he was just on JDG, so it's kind of interesting. So Billy Gaming this year is Bin Yagao. Who's their jungler? So it's Bin, Shun, Yigao, Elk, and On. Pretty good team, but I don't think they're going to be that great. Then they played against. I'm looking at the Fun Plus Phoenix team right now, and I don't recognize anybody besides like Hacker and LWX. So they're probably not going to be that good this year, to be completely honest. Looking at the IG team right now, no idea who any of these players are except for Dove. Okay, so JDG is 369, Kanabi, Knight, Ruler, and Missing. So this team is going to be absolutely fucking insane. Ruler was just on Gen G, who is probably one of the best teams in the world last year. He's moving on to JDG now. So the entirety of JDG just got a massive upgrade with getting Knight from Top Esports and Ruler from Gen G, keeping the rest of the core. So they're going to look really, really fucking good. So keep an eye out for them. Um, Here, let me pull up this to look through. I'm going to give a brief scroll through on all of these teams. But first, let me go through the rest of the game. So on Sunday, for January 15th, Ninjas in Pajamas ended up 2-0ing in their series. RNG 2-0'd OMG. Rare Atom ended up 2-1ing LGD. I didn't get a chance to watch any of these games because I actually went to yoga on um, Sunday morning at like 7 in the morning. So that was actually pretty good. I'll talk about that towards the end, I think. And then today, I didn't really get to watch any of these games. Um, what did we have? Top Esports ended up 2-0ing Rogue Warriors. I watched a little bit of that series, but I was at the gym like working out, so I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it. But um, I mean, it's Top Esports against a bottom tier team. They're just going to absolutely crap all over them. And then EDG ended up 2-0ing Team WE. So kind of on par for EDG. And then coming up tomorrow, we've got an LNG Thunder Talk Gaming match, and then an RNG IG game. That should be pretty decent. Wednesday, we got Billy Gaming against Fun Plus Phoenix, and then the big game of the week is going to be the Wednesday 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time game, which is Top Esports versus Weibo. That's going to be dope. So that's definitely worth checking out. So if you're going to watch any games this week, that would be the game. Everything else looks pretty standard for that. And then there won't be more games until Monday, January 30th. But yeah, Wednesday, 6 a.m. That's going to be the super banger game. Definitely keep an eye out on that. And that's going to be the cool game. I'm going to bring that back up. So let me take a look at the teams really quickly. All right, let me go into the Chinese scene. Everything else is starting up pretty quickly or pretty soon as well. So the LEC starts up uh, this weekend, 21st, which is going to be Saturday. So I think they're doing Saturday, Sunday, Monday now, which is pretty interesting. That should be cool. I'll probably go into that a little bit. Um, the Korean scene starting 2 days from now. So starting on Wednesday, I'll take a look at those games in a little bit. So let me go. And then the North American scene is starting the 26th of January. Um, so 10 days from now. So that's going to be next Thursday. Let me go back into the Chinese teams. Let's just take a look at the teams really quickly. Anyone's Legend I don't care about. Billy Gaming I already went over. EDG had some roster swaps. They've got Ale, JJ, Fofo, which is their new mid laner. Um, Leave and Mako. So they replaced their mid laner and um, ADC because it used to be Viper. I don't know where he went. I'll take a look. So I think EDG is not going to be as strong as they were last year. FPX, I don't know anybody on this team besides LWX and Care, so they're probably not going to be good at all. IG, let me take a look at their roster. I don't know anybody on this team at all, so I'm not expecting IG to be very good. Went over the JDG roster as well. They're going to be nasty. LGD, we have um, nobody I actually know. I don't know anybody on that team, so they're not worth talking about. LNG has Tarzan. Scout ended up going to LNG, which is kind of surprising. So LNG might be a dark horse for being a top tier team, so keep an eye on that. So they have Zika, who I'd have no idea, Tarzan, Scout, Yukai, and Yukai, who's probably not going to play because Scout's going to play the entire time. LP and Hong. Um, so they could be a dark horse. I think they'll probably be like top 5-ish, maybe. Ninjas in pajamas. The only person I know on this team is going to be Photic, but I don't think they're going to be a good team at all. OMG, kind of the exact same team that they had last year, so no real difference there. Rare Atom, I don't recognize anybody in that team besides Southwind. Let me take a look at RNG. RNG has Breathe Way, um, mid laner named Tong Huan. I don't know who the fuck that is. Gala and their 80 or their sorry, their support is Bunny. I feel like RNG might have gotten a downgrade, but we will see. I mean, the rest of their team is pretty good, but because I mean, Gala's nasty. So as long as you have him, you're probably in a good spot. I don't know anything about their mid laner. He looks pretty young, so I don't know. So they kept the top and jungle, put in a new mid laner and a new support. Take a look at Team WE. The only people on Team WE I recognize are Shanks, Hope, and Iwandi. I think Hope was on a different team last year. Shanks was on the team still. I'll go to Top Esports. Um, Top Esports is a new top laner. They have the same jungler and Tian. They ended up getting Rookie, which is actually a huge pickup for them. They also got Jackie Love and Mark. So Top Esports is going to be probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. Thunder Talk Gaming. Um, don't really recognize anyone on this team. It doesn't look like they made a whole lot of upgrades. Ultra Prime. I don't recognize anybody on this team besides Doggo and Baolon, but I don't think they're going to be a good team at all. I mean, Baolon's a former world champion, but he hasn't really been good for the past couple of years. He was on IG for the longest time, but he was not doing pretty good on that team. And then the last team would be Weibo Gaming, who's going to be probably pretty nasty. So they have the Shy, Karsa, they have Xiaohu on the team now, Light, and Crisp. This team is going to be absolutely sick. So I think for um, posterity's sake, I think the best teams in the league are going to be Weibo Gaming, Top Esports, RNG, JDG, LNG, and that's 5 right there. I'm gonna say those are gonna be the top 5. So it's gonna be JDG, LNG, RNG, Top Esports, and Weibo. I think those are gonna be the top 5. Not necessarily in that order, but keep an eye on that. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun teams to watch, but I think those are gonna be the top 5 teams that we're going to see this year. But I don't know. We'll see. But that's going to be it for the LPL section. I did want to just touch on the LCK really quickly because that is actually coming up very soon. First games are going to be the 18th of this month with the Donwon against DRX, and then there's T1 versus Genji. So there's a couple bangers right off the bat. Let me take a look at the teams to see what they did for any kind of roster changes. Donwon now is called D plus Kia, kind of a shit name, but whatever. They look really good. So they have Kana, Canyon, Showmaker, Deft, and Kellen. They're going to be a really good team, so they're probably going to be top 2 this year. DRX kind of blew up their whole team. I don't know if they kept anybody after that whole Worlds run. So now they have Rascal, Croco, Fate, Duckdom, and Barrel. So they're probably going to be bottom of the barrel this year. Taking a look at Genji really quickly. They actually didn't make a whole lot of changes except for I think their bot lane because they still have Doran, Peanut, Chovy, Pays, and Delight. Those are the 2 new bot laners. I think Genji is probably still going to be top of the table. This Hanwha Life team is actually going to be probably pretty nasty because they got King and Clid, Zeka, Viper, and Life. That's going to be nasty. Zeka coming off of that World Championship run. Hanwha Life, you kind of like to see this because they actually went in all the way, and they actually got a fucking team. They like paid a bunch of money for a team, so good for them. KT Rolster. It doesn't look like a great team, but looks relatively competitive. Kongdu or Kwangdong now. I don't know any of these guys. Live Sandbox. Don't really care. Nongshim Red Force, don't really care. And then T1, I'm pretty sure didn't make any changes at all. No, it doesn't look like they made any changes. So they should be a top tier team again this year. So keep an eye out for that. But games coming up is going to be the Damwon and DRX game. I think Damwon's actually going to stop all over them. And then T1 versus Genji. I think T1 probably wins that. And Thursday, January 19th, they got the Hanwha Live first game. That's going to be dope. Keep an eye on that one. That one should be a good game. They're playing against Freaks, Kwangdong Freaks, or whatever they are called now. I don't know. Fucking know. What else? And then the 5:30 a.m. game is Nongshim Red Force against Fred at Brion. That's gonna be lame. And then let's see, Friday got T1 to KT. That should be a good game. And then Live Sandbox against Dalmon. That should be a decent game. Saturday, Genji DRX. That should be a pretty decent game. The game after that kind of sucks. Sunday is gonna be Sandbox against Hanwha. That should be a decent game. All right, so for this week, games to watch out for is going to be the T1 Genji game, the Damwon Kia DRX game. That's on Wednesday. Then the Thursday game, which is the Hanwha Life Freaks game, just to see Hanwha play because they got that new revamped team. And then after that, I think all the other games are going to be kind of like hit or miss. So we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it. That's going to be it for the LCK, I do believe. Let me take a look at anything else. Do I have anything else here? And then I think for the LCK, and then again, the LEC doesn't start until they start this week. Let me double check. Okay, they start the 21st. That's gonna be Saturday. So I'll actually go into that as well because I won't be able to talk about it the until next week. So that is actually pretty dope. Let me take a look at the team changes on that. I'll give you like my breakdowns really quickly. They did a bunch of like what do you call it? Format changes for the LEC this year too, so that should be kind of interesting. I don't want to go into it too in depth right now because I can't fully explain it in a coherent way that people are going to understand because I don't fully understand it, but it's kind of cool. They're gonna do a whole lot more like actual like series instead of best of ones, which is gonna be more entertaining. Um, so let's take a look at the teams really quickly. Um, so Astralis, not worth mentioning. Excel actually looks pretty good because they got Odo Omne, Xerxes, Vetio, Patrick, and Targamas. They should be pretty good. I would think probably top five right there. Fnatic looks pretty good because they didn't really make any changes besides bringing Reckless back. They got Wonder, Razor, Humanoid, Reckless, and then Rux, who is a Portuguese support. So they should be pretty good. I would think they're probably going to be top five as well. G2 Esports, gonna be top five. I would think so because they got Broken Blade, Yike, who's like this young Swedish jungler. They got Kept Caps, they got Han Sama and Mickey X. So they're probably going to be top two, maybe top three. Koi, who is replacing Rogue. I don't think they're going to be phenomenal, but I don't know. We'll see. They got rid of their the only thing they really changed was their top laner. So they got new top laner Shigenda, or how do you spell his name? But they kept Malrong, Larson, Comp, and Trimby. So the team is relatively still going to be the exact same with a different top laner. Um, so they might still be really good. I don't really fucking know. Then we have Mad Lions, who got a new top laner, some Korean guy named Chasi. But they kept everybody else the same except for switching out. Actually, no, they actually made big changes. So the only two key people they kept was their mid laner and jungler with Yoya and Niski, and then they got a new top laner. They got Karzi back, and then they're bringing in Hillsong from Fnatic. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I would keep an eye on them. I think they're probably going to be top five as well. SK Gaming, uh, not really worth bringing up. BDS, um, Crown Shots back in BDS. They brought Laborov over to BDS. And then everyone else I kind of don't care about. Yeah, I don't know. They don't look like a very good team. I don't think they're going to be very good. It may be interesting to watch them play, but I just don't think they're going to be very good. Um, Team Heretic should be interesting to watch. They got the Japanese top laner Evi, which is a pretty interesting pickup. They got Yankos, they got Ruby, who's a Korean mid laner, Jack Spectra, and Mursa. They're a pretty interesting team, and I think Team Vitality is going to be absolutely nasty. They got the top laner named Photon, who's some Korean guy who I have no idea who he is. They got the Chinese jungling sensation Bo. Then they got Perks, Neon, and Kaiser. So I think that team's going to be really good. If you ask me right now, top five, it would probably be Vitality, G2, Fnatic, Excel, and it's between Koi and Mad Lions. I think. I don't really know. I think I'm going to put Mad Lions in there. Um, just because I think they have a higher ceiling, but I don't know. We could, I have no idea. But that'll be interesting. And then the games coming up again starts off Saturday, January 21st. First game is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's afternoon. So I'm probably going to try and watch every single one of these games. G2 Excel, it's going to be a banger. Then they got Koi BDS at 1. That's going to be a decent game, I guess. Astralis and Heretics, that should be interesting. I definitely kind of want to watch that game because um, I'm really curious about the Heretics team. SK and then Mad Lions should be a decent game. And then the last game of the day is going to be the Fnatic Vitality game at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be a dope game. Definitely keep an eye out for that one. Definitely going to want to watch that. So, two best games of the day are probably going to be G2 Excel to start the day, and then Fnatic Vitality to end the day. And then Sunday, January 22nd, Vitality is playing Heretics at 2 p.m. And then G2 is playing Fnatic at 4 p.m. So the two games to watch out for on the Sunday are going to be the Vitality Heretics game and the G2 Fnatic game. Those are going to be bangers. The G2 Fnatic game is going to be Probably game of the week if you'd ask. Then Monday, January 23rd. Um, some decent games here, but the game to really look out for would probably be the Mad Lions Vitality game at 4 p.m. That's gonna be a really good game. I've got high hopes for Vitality this year, so keep an eye out on that. That should be a good game, but I will go over that when that happens. Um, so that's going to be the first week of the LEC. LCS does not start until the 26th. So I'll bring that up next week on the podcast because I don't need to talk about it right now because it's not happening for quite some time. So I'll just disregard it for now. Um, anything else I see on here that jumps out? I don't really see anything else on here jumping out to me that's really that interesting. Um, what else? What else? Doing else? All right, well, that's gonna be it for I think the League of Legends portion here. So we will cut it right there. I know that's everybody's favorite part. And then anything else I want to talk about? Oh, I did want to briefly mention that the formats for MSI and Worlds have changed. So there's gonna be a whole lot more games. There's gonna be a whole lot more best of series instead of best of one. So it's gonna be really fucking cool. Keep an eye out on that. I'll bring that up when the time comes. But the format changes are going to make the viewing experience a whole lot better. You're going to see a whole lot more games, and you're probably going to get better teams coming out of the stages because of that. So this is something that people have been asking for a very, very long time, and they're just doing it now. So this is going to be the first year for the format changes for these massive international tournaments. So excuse me, it might be a little rocky, but it's definitely going to produce a better product overall. So keep an eye out on that. It might be a little bit harder to watch when they're live, but you can always watch the what do you call it, the VODs and stuff. But I think it's going to turn out way better matches. So it's also going to make the teams better overall. And then one thing I wanted to mention really quickly before I get into the anime stuff is going to be I ended up playing Dungeons and Dragons this past week with the boys. It was fun to get back into it. I don't remember what whole lot of what we did. I think we're still doing some Spelljammer stuff. Um, it was fun. I want to play more, but I had totally forgotten that we were going to play. Then my brother hit me up, asked me if I was still good to go, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Yeah, I definitely am. I forgot about it." So it was nice that he reminded me. But yeah, definitely want to play more D&D. Next time, hopefully, I'll be able to give you guys a more coherent breakdown of what happened because I don't really remember myself. I just remember getting into a fight and missing every single spell I launched. So that's probably why I put it into the back of my mind because wasn't having a whole lot of fun missing everything. But it is what it is. And then let's get into the anime really quickly. So I did end up finishing up some stuff from the last season that I did not get to finish. Let me pull that up quickly. So the first thing I actually finished was Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man was really good. For a review of it really quickly, I'm going to give that. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. My anime list has an 8.69 out of 10. I thought it was really good. I'm excited for the next season of it. I don't know when it's coming out. It's 12 episodes as of right now for the first season. So keep an eye out on that. I definitely recommend that. So you guys should watch that for sure. Um, I still need to catch up on Mob Psycho, but yeah, for Chainsaw Man, I'm going to give it an 8. Um, definitely worth watching. It never got to really like a slow point. Most of the time, is all really pretty good. And people end up dying that you like don't expect to die and shit like that. So really good. Definitely keep an eye out for that more in the future. Um, all right, what else do we have? And then I also finished More Than a Married Couple, but Less Than Lovers series. That was it's translates to More Than a Married Couple, but Not Lovers. Pretty decent. My anime list has this as a 7.61. I'd probably give it like a 6 on here. I thought it was decent. I thought it was worth watching. Like the designs are cute. The color schemes and the pastels and the animation are good. So if you guys like easy watching rom-coms, I would suggest it. So that one I'll give a 6. Nothing like super crazy. What else? We have Reincarnated as a Sword. I thought that was pretty good. My anime list here has that as a 7.56. I would give that about like 6.5. I thought it was good. It wasn't absolutely insane. The animation was through the roof. So that was really good. I can guarantee you this is going to get another season, but this is one of those series that I actually was reading the manga of and actually recommended before the anime came out. Um, so that was something that I wasn't anticipating. And I figured it was going to be good, but I also knew I wasn't going to absolutely love it. I just thought it was going to be pretty good. The animation probably the best part, but you know, worth watching if you guys are looking for something simple to watch through. What else do we have? Let me look at my notes. Here we are. Um, Yeah, so I need to finish up Mob Psycho from that season. Blue Lock is still going, still really good. Eminence in Shadow is still going, and I'm enjoying it a little bit more as the series goes on. Golden Kamuy I need to finish up because um, that actually is on hiatus because I believe somebody passed away who was doing the production on that, so that kind of sucks. Need to catch up on that. And then also, I also wanted to mention something that I caught up on from summer of 2022 was Isekai Oji-san, which was actually really, really good. Um, so I definitely recommend that. Let me take a look at what it has for a rating on my anime list. It looks like it's got a rating of 7.85. I'd actually give this an 8. I think it's really good. I think it's really clever, really unique. They kept a little bit of the sketchy, rough art style from the manga, so definitely keep an eye out on that. Definitely watch that. That was definitely fun. 13 episodes, whole lot of fun. Pretty underrated if you ask me. Definitely does not take itself seriously. Does a lot of fucking goofy tropes and stereotypes from like isekai series, but worth fucking watching if you ask me. I think one of the best series of 2022, if that's a hot take or not. But here, hold on a second. I got to go upstairs and cut a turkey. I will be back in just a moment. All right, my bad. I am back. I just had to go cut up a turkey. My dad made a whole small turkey and needed me to cut it up, so I just went up there and fucked that shit up real quick. What was I talking about? Okay, Isekai Oji-san. Again, 7.85 out of 10 on my anime list. I'm gonna give that an 8, if not an 8.5. Again, one of my favorite series of 2022. Highly recommend. Is there anything else I caught up from? Um, no, I don't think so. And then again for fall 2022, there's a few things I need to catch up on as well. But we're gonna go right into actually winter of 2023 really quickly. I did check out quite a few first episodes of a few series, so we will look at that really quickly. So I did watch the first episode of the second season of Tokyo Revengers. Really good. I really enjoyed the first season. The first season kind of started off pretty slow with the main character being pretty annoying, but ended up picking up and him ended up being like not so um, annoying. Like obviously he's not the favorite character in the series of anybody, but he's kind of just the vessel how the story is told basically, and then you end up liking all the other characters. But second season of Tokyo Revengers started off really good. Picked right up off of the cliffhanger from the first season that they left you on, and it just didn't disappoint. So this first episode really good. I think the second one's out already, but I'm excited to see where Tokyo Revengers is going. I watched the first episode of the Misfit Demon King Academy season 2. It was all right. They definitely did an upgrade on the animation. I watched the first season quite a while ago, and it was all right. It's whatever. And then also, I ended up watching the first episode of the Nier Automata series. I have no fucking idea what is going on because I didn't watch any of the game or play any of the games. Um, but the studio that's doing the production is A1 Pictures, and they are absolutely popping off with this one because it looks absolutely gorgeous. And they're blending the 2D with the 3D animation very well. I just have no idea what's going on. So, I mean, I'm still enjoying it, but I just don't know what the deal is and like any of the lore or what any of the things mean or whatever. But it looks really cool, so I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. But I think that's definitely gonna be a pretty good series. Um, what else are we looking at here? I watched the first couple episodes of the Danmachi season 4 part 2. Pretty good. I'm excited for this. It's looking pretty good. It's getting into the more serious stuff, so I'll be talking about that. I watched the first 2 episodes of The Adventurers Who Don't Believe in Humanity. That one's pretty good. I mean, the animation looks really good, and I've read a few chapters of this manga before. I think it's pretty decent. Originally a light novel, but I was just reading the manga like a couple, or not too long ago, probably earlier in 2022. But it is, it's not bad. The animation looks really good, but I don't think it's gonna be like one of my favorite series. Um, I still have yet to watch the Trigun Stampede episodes yet, and I'd probably try and do that today since I've got some free time. I still haven't watched Vinland Saga yet for the first episode or 2 that are out. I'm gonna have to do that. I'll probably try and do that today as well. That one's gonna be dope. I'm excited for that. I watched the first couple or chapters, episodes, sorry, of Farming Life in Another World. This is a series that um, manga series that I've been on and off reading for quite a while now. It's originally a light novel, but the manga is like really short chapters, so you can kind of bang through a lot of them. And it's got like 190 something right now, but you can literally read through the manga chapters like in less than a minute. So um, the animation on this looks really good, done by Studio Zero G, who also did what else did they do? I'm not recognizing anything else that they've done. Oh, they did the My Roommate is a Cat series, which is actually really adorable. They also did Grand Blue. Okay, there we go. So that makes sense. Yeah, so Studio Zero G, they've done a lot of pretty good stuff. And then what else do we have? I checked out the reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world. Another episode, another series that I've been reading the manga of. Didn't expect this to get an anime adaptation, which is kind of surprising with a few of these as well. Um, it's not bad. I mean, the animation is pretty good. I already know what the story is going through, and I've read quite a few of the chapters, so I'll probably watch that because it's gonna be an easy watch. I also started watching Campfire Cooking in Another World with my absurd skill. That one's pretty good. Again, done by Studio Mappa, so or Mappa, sorry. So the animation is absolutely through the roof. I've been reading this manga for quite a while now, so I pretty much know exactly what's going to happen in um, the anime, so that's cool. And then they have the Handyman Saito in Another World. I actually had no idea what to expect from this, but the animation is actually really, really good. And the way that the story is told is like kind of weird because it's all broken up into like really small, like little stories within an episode because it's from a four coma, which is like really small little like I think it's like supposed to be like four panel like stories or like 4 page chapters or whatever the fuck. Um, so Um, the animation actually is absolutely through the roof, and I think I might end up enjoying this because I always saw this series on like manga sites, but I never looked into it because I never really cared. But I saw it come out with the anime adaptation, so I was like, "Fuck it, I guess I'll try it." Might as well. Why not? Um, so that was actually kind of enjoyable. So I watched that. I also watched Chill in My 30s after getting fired from the Demon Academy or Demon Army or whatever that is. This is another series that I was reading the manga on. It's all right. That's all I'm gonna say. Then The Fruit of Evolution, episode 2 or sorry, season 2, I started watching that as well. You could tell that the animation went through an upgrade a little bit. Actually didn't end up finishing the first season, and I don't really think I need to because I mean, I've been reading the manga for quite a while now. This is something I brought up quite a while ago. If anybody listens to the podcast or has been an avid listener for a while now, um, so that's something I was excited to see was that they came up with a season 2 and did the animation better. I think it's the same studio, but the animation definitely looks like it's got an upgrade. So I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna try and enjoy it as much as possible. Hopefully they do some justice with it. And I think that's about it. There's quite a few that I'm checking out this season. So I'm gonna try and stay on top of this. I do this every fucking season where I like try and like slam as much as possible. But this season's kind of weird because there's like a few that are like real big bangers. and then there's a lot of them that, like, are manga series that I've been reading for a while just for, like, easy light reading that have anime adaptations for whatever reason. It doesn't like they probably shouldn't have gotten them, but, um, it is what it is. Um, if the popularity's there, they're gonna make anime adaptations for it. So, again, what I'm looking at for this season is going to be Tokyo Revengers Season 2, Demon King Academy Season 2, um, Trigun Stampede, Danmachi Season 4 Part 2, Strongest Exorcist, the Nier series, Farming in Another World, Vinland Saga Season 2, Evolution or Fruit of Evolution Season 2, Human or Adventures That Don't Trust Humanity, um, the Saito-san series, the Cooking Skill in Another World, I think it was. Let me double check and see exactly what it's called. Farming, blah, 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 blah. Uh, huh? Motherfucker. All right, hold on a second. Campfire Cooking Another World with my absurd skill, and then um, the Chillin' in My 30s. So all that random junk. But I think that is going to be it for that. Then I just wanted to mention really quickly about I ended up finishing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I actually ended up really liking that, a lot more than I liked the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, so Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, let me take a look on it came out in 2017, had your boy Kurt Russell in it. Um, let me where is IMDb? So let's see. IMDb had this at let's see. Where's the rating? IMDb had this as a 7.6. I think that's pretty on par. Um, I think this actually got a lower rating than the first one. I think this one was significantly better than the first one. The first one was kind of more of like the introduction to like Thanos and the Infinity Stones or whatever, whereas this one had nothing to do with that. It was just all about like Peter Quill and like his like father and his upbringing and stuff like that. So I thought this one was much better, had a much better storyline. Um, Yeah, so I enjoyed this one significantly more. This one was, like, more about, like, family and shit like that, and then, of course, like, Yondu comes back, he's a recurring character, um, but I like this one way better than the first one. So, uh, IMDb 7.6, I'll give it a 7.5 just so I'm not giving the exact same rating, but I think it was really good. I also watched the Guardians of the Galaxy, Christmas special, which is actually pretty decent. They, like, go out and they, like, kidnap Kevin Bacon because I guess Peter Quill's, like, a big Kevin Bacon fan. I don't fucking know. Um, that was kinda funny. I would give that, like, a 6. Not, like, worth, like, going out of your way to watch, but if you have the time, definitely worth watching, or definitely decent watch, so take a look at that, but, I think that's going to be it for the podcast here, episode 30. Had a couple interruptions here, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Um, but I think that's gonna be it. I will catch you guys next week. Again, this is Chris, aka Don Burgundy on the internet. Have a good one, guys. Go get your dick wet and check out this new anime season. It is actually pretty decent. Um, Also, I forgot to mention I did do yoga, and I thought it was fun. It was fun. I sweated my ass off. It was really challenging. I'm just kind of rushing to finish this, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go eat some turkey. Then I'm going to edit this and put it back up. So appreciate you guys for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit down in the description below. Appreciate it. Love you guys. See you next week.